Welcome, guys. Today I wanted to take some time to dive into some really cool jazz licks. They're kind of from a classic jazz recording, actually. It's John Coltrane's solo on his track, or on the track Mr. PC, Mr. Paul Chambers, that's made for. And yeah, I took some of the choruses out of his solo. It's a jazz blues, and arranged those for the guitar, basically. I did that early last year, so the track itself and the solo itself has been out for about a year. So I actually learned it back then and arranged it for the guitar. So I haven't played it, obviously, for a year since then. So it'll be kind of like relearning it for me. And I just thought, I wanted to share it with you guys. It is one of my favorite things to do, and something that I recommend to anybody who wants to, up their vocabulary, their kind of lick library on the guitar. Learning solos from other instruments can be really helpful, and can really open up a bunch of like new stuff and new goodies. And this solo is definitely no different. It definitely has some licks and some passages that you would normally hear on the guitar. So yeah, I thought I would teach it. It's all free for you guys. Obviously, you can follow along. There is a tab for it as well. It's linked below. I've got both the track with the intro solo linked below, and the tab. It's in the description right there. It's on Patreon. That's where all of my tabs are, and all of my lessons and everything else. Putting a lot of work into the Patreon page right now, and it's growing really quickly just now. So very grateful for that, and am determined to put in even more work over there. Yeah, hit me up on Patreon. I appreciate support very much. Yeah, let's dive in. First of all, actually, let me find out where you guys are. I'll just check in with you guys before we dive in. Yeah, let me know where in the world you are. Always love to hear where people are. Get a kick out of that. And do you know what? I will play you the solo. So obviously you should go and check out the original, which is Mr. PC on John, played by John Coltrane, saxophone player. If you don't know him, check him out. He's one of the greatest, one of the most creative and hardworking musicians that you're gonna find. Obviously, he's no longer with us, but yeah, very much worth checking out. I love John Coltrane. In fact, I've also got a Wednesday warm-up that is based on Coltrane licks, so you can check that out. I've got a linked the Wednesday warm-ups in the description as well. But if you search for Coltrane, Quist, or whatever, and Wednesday warm-up, you're gonna find that as well. It's pretty hard. Obviously, Coltrane is a beast, and hard to play on any instrument, really. But I've arranged it for the guitar in a way that I think is pretty playable. It has a couple of big stretches and some quick moves around, but I think it's pretty playable. And if you slow it down, you'll get there. But it is a pretty fast jazz blues. It's a jazz blues in C minor. So yeah, there we go, guys. But make sure you listen to the original, obviously, Mr. PC, John Coltrane. So this is basically two choruses, two of my favorite choruses from that solo that I've taken and arranged for the guitar. And this is how it sounds on the track. Like I said, that's linked below if you wanna have a look at that as well. You can refer to that. It's in the first line of the description. So here we go. Sounds like this. Okay, so that is it. So 2 choruses, C minor, and a bunch of really tasty licks and phrases that John Coltrane plays. So let's dig into it. I want to talk about the sound as well, how to get that kind of jazzy sound. I'll just do a couple of shout outs first. So Santa Barbara is in the house, love it. London Calling, very good. Hey JMO, if that's how you say it. Appreciate it, Mickey Lee, and oh, Cornwall, UK, Linden, New Jersey, very good. Hope you're taking care over there. I just spoke to a friend in New Jersey yesterday or the day before yesterday, and it's pretty grim that side of the United States over there. So hope that you are taking care of yourself and those that you love, and everybody around you guys. Sao Paulo, Brazil in the house. Texas, Boulder, Colorado. I love Colorado. Minneapolis. Ooh, are you expecting snow? Wow, okay. That's, wow. Loved living near Bodmin. Give it my love. That's awesome. D. Dutson Darren, I believe it is, from Manchester. How you doing? Thanks for checking in. Fong, hello. How you doing? Amarillo, Texas. How's it going? F Google. That nice name right there. Corey, you're very welcome. Let's get into it. Andrew, how you doing? Virginia and Auvergne in France. Sorry if I said that wrong. Italy in the house, and Austin, Texas. Suzanne, how are you all doing? Hope that you're doing all right under the circumstances, and you know, taking it one day at a time and remembering to do stuff that makes you happy and feel good. That's certainly what I'm trying to do. So yeah, apropos, let's jump into something that I really love, which is, you know, putting other instrument solos into my kind of lick library. So that's what we're gonna do, and I'm gonna pull up the tab, and then we'll dig into it. So first off, let's talk about the sound, because obviously I'm pretty much playing what could be described as a rock guitar, but you can get this kind of sound on like pretty much any guitar. One thing that I will say is I have some reverb on it, so you know, that's kind of part of my sound on this particular occasion, and in general I do love reverb, and it kind of makes you, it helps with playing with dynamics, I feel, and your playing is very much part, dynamics is very much part of how you get this kind of jazz sound. If you're playing all like very hard like that, it just doesn't come out the same way, and it doesn't have that jazzy feel to it. So what I'm doing is I've got it up loud, you know, pretty loud, so loud that I don't have to play it very hard. You know, you can play it softly and it'll still be, you know, you can still hear it. So it's that soft touch is really part of the tone as such. But in terms of you know, the controls here, I'm on the neck pickup, and I've rolled pretty much all of the tone off. So if you got a tone knob, hit up your neck pickup, only neck pickup, and then roll a bunch of the tone off. You've got a jazzy kind of sound already, and that doesn't have to be a Strat, or, you know, it could be any guitar really. You can convert guitars into jazz guitars. So right now, you know, I've got a bunch of tone on. Not very jazzy. Roll all the tone off. softer kind of rounded sound without a lot of high frequencies. And that's it. So roll a bunch of tone off, use your neck pickup, and maybe add a little reverb, and then have that soft touch in your right hand. That's it. We got a sound going. So here we go. So like I said, you can get the tab if you feel like you want that to go along with it. It's on my Patreon along with all my other tabs, obviously. Yeah, if you join the tab lover tier, you get access to, it's over 100 tabs now. You get instant access to all of those, and you can sign off whenever you want. There's no like period that you have to be signed on there. So I think it's by now, with all of those tabs, it's becoming a pretty good deal. So I'm very grateful for everybody who's obviously taking me up on that offer of a deal. Makes a huge difference at this point, especially. So yeah, that is very awesome, and I'm very thankful for everybody linked up with me there on Patreon. So there we go. Let's do it, guys. First phrase. So it plays into the one, has like a little run into the one. Starts straight on the one on a C minor. So very basic, but runs into it like this. So you can think of that as C melodic minor, and I was kind of already starting to get the C melodic minor kind of vibe going when I was just testing out the sound there. So C melodic minor, you guys might know, it's like a minor scale, but with a major 6th and a major 7th step. So yeah, what you can kind of see that first phrase as something deriving from C melodic minor, if you like. You can see it in a couple of different ways, but that's how I like to see it. So yeah, we got little finger there on the 5th fret of the D string. Second finger on the A note there on this, sorry, the first finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and that's hammering on to the 4th fret with the 3rd finger. So, and then 2nd finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. Like that. And that's actually a pattern that Coltrane uses a whole lot, especially in like giant steps, which is another of his very famous cuts. Maybe his most famous cut. Certainly one of the, it's sort of a very hard piece of music, and it's some kind of, it's like a test or whatever for many musicians if they can solo on that, which sounds very, but it is what it is. But yeah, Giant Steps is a fun tune. I actually have a groove version of Giant Steps out, one of the very few jam tracks that's based on other songs on my channel. So you can check that out. I'm actually just transcribing the solo for that as well. That should be up pretty soon on Patreon. But there we go. So that's your first part there. So, and now we're gonna go do this little sort of pattern that we got going. So that's definitely a pattern, right? And then it's kind of like a sequence, but it involves some chromaticism right there. So we got a pull off from the little finger to the 3rd finger, from 5 to 4 on the G string, and then back to 5. So okay, and then I'm going to use my 2nd finger on the 4th fret of the B string. Yeah. Then I'm going to pull that off to the 1st finger on the 3rd fret. And then I'm actually going to go down to the 2nd fret and slide that up to the 3rd fret, like this. So it's a little bit tricky. This is the fingering that I find the most efficient. So okay, and then we're gonna go up to 6 with the little finger, and pull off to 4 onto the second finger there. So as you'll notice, I'm not picking all the notes. I'm using some legato. So there's definitely a reason for that, and the main reason is the rhythmic contour of the phrasing. So I very much think about phrasing like that. I will also soon do, I've had some requests for a live stream and a lesson about phrasing, which will definitely go out very soon. But yeah, that I feel passionate about, like having phrasing that has a rhythmic contour and a rhythmic like interest to it, and so I'm trying to get the kind of interest that you get from the contour of, for example, John Coltrane, or somebody like Charlie Parker, who's also a sax player, alto sax mostly though, and you know, I'm trying to like get that kind of feel, that rhythmic feel into the playing on the guitar, which I think is super interesting. Somebody like John Scofield is a master at that in my eyes, and one of the reasons that he's one of my favorite guitarists, because he's got that, his lines are just so interesting in terms of the rhythmic contour, and the sort of dynamics of it all. So there we go. That's why I've used the combinations of legato that I have. And it's very much to do with marking the upbeats rather than the downbeats, so it gives it that jazzy, you know, it's a jazzy thing. So I pulled off there. Yeah, so after that pull off, we're gonna hammer on from 3 to 4 on the B string. So, and then we go. So the G note there on the 3rd fret of the E string, back to the 6th fret on B, and then back up to the G. So like that, and then we go back to that E flat note there on the 4th fret of the B string. Yeah. There we go. So that is our first phrase, and that brings us to this bit. So where we slide up to the root note, the C. So up to the 8th fret on the E string from the 6th fret. Okay, that brings us to almost into the 5th measure, which is an F minor chord. First 4 bars was more like a C minor kind of vibe. So we go. Okay, that's a lovely little lick. Okay, so we slide up, hold that note for a bit, and then I'm going to use my 2nd finger on the 6th fret of the E string and pull that off to the 1st finger on the 4th fret, like that. And then I've already barred a little bit with my 1st finger here. Ready for that? Yeah, on the 4th fret. And then I hammer on from 4th to 5th fret on the B string. So then I go up to the G on the 3rd fret of the E string. And then back to that F note on the 6th fret of the B string. So, lovely little phrase. Okay, now we're going to go up just the minor scale. Okay, so 3, 4, 6 on the top E string. Yeah. Yeah. from that 6th fret there to the 3rd fret. Then we're going to go down C minor pentatonic. Yeah? Pretty simple. So we're going 3 and then 6 to 4 on B, and then 5th fret with your 3rd finger on the G string. Like that. There we go. And then we got that note here, which is like the 9th, if you like, of the C minor. So, you hold on to that until the C minor comes. So let's just try that whole little phrase. Yeah, nice little phrase. Okay, then we hold that, give it a bit of vibrato if you like, and then do a little bit of a change of position here, and then it goes and introduces that note, which obviously before we weren't able to play because it was an F minor. So you had like an A flat, you had, but then as soon as we get to the C minor, he goes and introduces that A natural, which is like a, you know, again, the C melodic minor kind of thinking. It's the hip kind of jazz. Hip jazz kind of sound. So there we go. Yeah, so we got down there. We had the C on the 5th fret. And then that note there, the D, again on the 3rd fret of the B string, and then that A note on the 2nd fret of the G string. There we go. And for the last part of that first chorus, we sort of anticipate that there's an A flat 7 chord and a G7 chord, and back to the C minor. Standard, you know, jazz blues kind of vibe. That flat 6 kind of step, and onto the 5th fret, or the 5th step. Both dominant chords, so A flat 7 and G7, and C minor. So that's the progression underneath right there, and we sort of anticipate the A7 like that, yeah. We anticipate that because we, but that is, you know, something that's super common in jazz in general. Is like, you know, you can bend the chord progression, you know, because it's really just tension and release. So if you start playing on a chord a little earlier than when it comes, you know, who's gonna care? The jazz police. No, what I'm saying is, you know, there's a freedom like that can be used, and somebody like Coltrane will definitely use it. And same with Charlie Parker, actually, talking about Charlie Parker, you know, he'll play the changes. They might not happen straight on that beat or within that measure, and it's fine, you know. It's like, it still speaks a language of tension and release. So anyways, yeah, here's the next phrase. So it's a cool little arpeggio style run, but actually again is that the same pattern that we used at the very start of the solo. It's actually that you're hearing again. He loves that pattern. It's like a 1, 2, 3, 5 kind of pattern. 1, 2, 3, 5. You hear that in giant steps all over the shop, all over the place. It's very, very popular pattern for him. But anyways, it starts here on the flat 7. So you go 4th fret on the D string, and then 6th fret with your 2nd finger and your 4th finger, yeah, and then you hammer on from 3 to 5 on G, 1 and 3 in terms of fingers. And then you go up to the 4th fret on that B string. Then you go up there, the flat 7 again, on the 2nd fret, and then 4th fret, which is the A flat, and then that hammers on to the 9th, you know, in terms of the scale degrees, from A flat, that's the 9th right there. So that's a B flat on the 6th fret, and you hammer on to that with from your 2nd finger to the 4th finger. So, love that sound. Okay, and let's see what we got so far. So, okay, so far so good. Next up, so here we have a little bit of a fast run, typical like horn player thing where it just goes into a note, you know, just a flurry of notes into another very definite kind of note. So here we have, you can kind of see that as it's like a whole tone scale kind of run actually. All whole tone scale from G. And funnily enough, actually, I put out this week's Wednesday warm-up is a whole tone scale workout from G. I actually hadn't planned that, but so there we go. So if you want to get groovy with the whole tone scale starting from G, give this week's Wednesday warm-up workout, because it is it's definitely a workout, and it's like a sequence. So I won't dive into it now, but yeah, you can click on the Wednesday warm-ups in the description as well, and you will find it. So so yeah, it's like a whole tone scale run up to that B flat note there, which isn't a whole tone scale note, but it's the ending note. So start from G right there. So D string, 2nd finger, 5th fret. Okay, then play the A note there on the 7th fret. Then hammer on from 4 to 6 on G. 1 and 3 in terms of fingers. Then go up to the 4th fret on the B. Do the 6th fret with your 2nd finger, and then hammer that onto the little finger on the 8th fret. And the rhythmic value here is triplets. So you go 1 and so 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it lands on the 4 of the beat, and starts on the 1 and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it lands straight on the 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So it's kind of hard, this one. You probably want to slow that right down. Try and learn it with a metronome. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. So that's how it goes. So it doesn't start, you know, straight on the beat. It starts straight after the beat, like that. So and then yeah, we get up there and we hammer on from 5th to 6th fret on the E string, like that. Yeah, and then you hold on to that for a bit, and then you go there. So now we're back in C minor, and he's actually thinking, you know, minor there, straight up minor. So pull off from 4 to 3 on the E string, and then go down to that E flat, which is the minor 3rd of C minor. So that's on the 4th fret of the B string. There you go. That's pretty sexy way of playing the A flat 7 and the G7. So there we go. That brings us to pretty much the end of that first chorus. So we're halfway. So. Okay, I'm gonna actually try and play that in time with the track. Might as well. So I'm gonna play the track, and I'll play it a couple of times so you can see how it sounds. Let's do it again. One more time. Last time. So what I was trying to do there was get the phrasing completely as is. So I finally got the legato completely right on the A flat, and then subsequently messed up the other one that I've been getting right the whole time. But we'll just do it one more time. Here we go. All right, there it is. So that was exactly how that goes. So I hope you'll have some fun with that. If you've just joined, there is a tab for this. It's on my Patreon along with all the other tabs. And also this will stay up for a little while here on YouTube, and after that it'll be available on my Patreon as well. All my live streams and everything like that, they've remained up on the Patreon for everybody there to keep on, you know, coming back to and referring to. So let's dive into the second chorus. So here we go. There's a pretty long stretch there, but otherwise pretty much a scale run. So here we have again the C melodic minor scale. Yeah, C melodic minor. So we go. I love how it starts. It starts on the B note, you know, like beat 1 is that note, which is the, you know, the major 7, which is you know, kind of radical, and I like that. So so here we go. We go into that B note with a little scale run. So start on the 6th fret of the B string, pull it off with your little finger to the 4th fret. Actually, yeah, I'm lying. Don't pull that one off. Pull off the next one. So pull off from 4 to 3. string, and then down to the C note there on the G, on the G string, and then pull that off to that first note of the new chorus, the second chorus, which is that B note on the 4th fret of the G string. So there we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, like that. Okay, now we're gonna go back to G. There. The D string, 5th fret, and then we're just going to go straight up the C melodic minor scale. So 2 and 4 and 5 on the G string, and we can hammer on there from 4 to 5 using the 3rd and 4th fingers. B string, and go 1st finger, 2nd finger, 4th finger. So in terms of frets, it's 3, 4, 6. So okay, and then we're gonna play that G note there on the 3rd fret, and then we have this. So that one may cause some trouble. You could try and you can try and play it in a different way if you like. Alternatively, like that. You could go up on the 8th fret of the B string, but I love to play it like this, so that I can pull it off, like from the 8th fret with my little finger, pull that 8th fret off to the 3rd fret. I know it's kind of a hardcore stretch, really, not even that long, but like that. So yeah, I know it's a stretch, but obviously it's all about giving yourself enough leeway like that, just in order for that stretch to become possible. So you got to adjust your hand in order to make that stretch possible. And then you pull it off to 3. So like I said, some of you guys might have trouble with a stretch that size. And if you do, then go for 8, 8, 8, 8. So 8 on the B string, 8 on the E, 8 on the B, and then back to 6. So this is how I like to do it. So pull off, and then that fret right there, 6th fret on the B string. So lovely phrase. And then we got a bit of legato right there. So from that you pull off, and then you hammer on and pull off again. So or like that. And then you're going to need to make a very quick adjustment of position. So with your 1st finger, go from 4th fret on the B up to 3rd fret on the E string. You could also go like this. You could also land there and then do the pull off between the 2nd and 4th fingers. So it's like, then you don't have to adjust your hand position like that. But I prefer it the other way, and because I know that I can get there quick enough with that quick little shift. But if you find it uncomfortable, use that alternative fingering. Okay, so then we go up there and go nice like minor scale lick like that. So 3, and then pull off from 4 to 3 on the B string, and then pull off from 6 to 4, and then back to the C note there on the 5th fret of the G string. that. So. So you see I have to do that pretty quick little change of position. But it's possible. Okay, now let's move on to the next bit. We're getting close to the end. Oh, I love this bit. So this is like saying, you know, like in a minor blues like this, you know, you might make the fourth chord into a dominant because it leads beautifully into the fifth bar. The fifth. So, okay, wait a minute. I said the fourth chord. What I mean is the chord that happens in the fourth bar. You might make that one into a dominant because it leads beautifully into the fifth bar, which is the minor, the four chord, like that. So you go C minor, and then that leads, that has that, you know, C dominant leads beautifully into the F minor. So that's kind of what's happening here. He leads that in there by playing the new note, which is the major set, the major third of C7. But he's also playing the minor third. So it's like an altered. It's like an altered scale moment right there. If you want to think of it like that, or you can just think that it's chromatic. You know, he's just taking a note that belongs and approaching it from below. Either of those ways lead to what it is, and it's jazz. So there you go. Now we're gonna get a little bit of a pattern here as well. So I'll show you the fingerings for that. So it's third finger, pulling off on the fifth fret to the fourth on the B string, and then playing the fifth fret again, and then first finger on the G note there on the third fret of the E string, and then we're going to play the sixth fret on the B. Okay, so here we go. So now we have this humongous long run that almost takes the whole solo to its end. There's just one more phrase after that, really, or a couple, but this one really is one of the main chunks to learn. So it's a pretty long phrase, but man, it has some cool color in there. So let's just do that first. That's the F minor part of it. So now this is just an F minor arpeggio, right? So you got the root, the fifth, and the minor third. So that's sixth fret, fifth fret on the G, sixth on B, and then fourth fret with your second finger on the E string. And there's a bit of a pattern here, like an arpeggio pattern. Yeah. So I'm pulling off to the third fret on the E string, and then going down to the fourth fret on the B string, back up to the third on the E, and then up to the sixth on E as well. So just try that. Okay, now we're going to pull off from 6 to 4, and then a little bit awkwardly, I've got my little finger here, but I'm going to use my first finger to bar there, because what we got here is, well, it's basically an A flat major shape. But obviously, if you play this in the context of F minor, it's actually just an F-7 arpeggio. It outlines the same notes that you would have in an F-7. So you can look at it like an F-7 or an A flat major arpeggio, basically. So so I'm pulling off to that 4th fret and then 4th fret, so I'm barring here, and then 5th fret on the G string, and then 6th fret on the D string with my 3rd finger. Okay? So far, so good. Then we go like that. If you notice it, it's actually that same pattern that I was talking about at the very start as well. Oh, it's kind of a version of that, because it's like, you know, if you look at it from A flat, you got the 1, the 3, sorry, the 1, 2, 3, but then you actually got, I guess, what you would call a 4. It's the same kind of principle, very much like that sound. Okay, so okay, that brings us that far. So so that was 3, 5, pull off to 3, 6 with your little finger, and then slide down to 5 on the D string, like that. Okay, so just try this. 1, 2, 3, 4. So, oh no, 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So what I always find is, you know, the quickest way to learn anything is like zoom in on each part and don't move on before you've totally mastered the part, as slowly as you need to do it. You know, the quicker you want to learn something, the slower you're going to be willing to, you know, play it at first. So like, just like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're willing to play it at that tempo enough times to play it perfectly every time, then you'll have it at the, you know, a really quick tempo, much quicker than if you didn't take the time to play it super slow. So that's a point I make often, and it's because I really believe it. I know it to be true, because you know, it totally works. Slow stuff down, play it in time, and you will be playing it, you know, and it will be like real music, much quicker than if you just like constantly try and play it as quickly as you can and then fail along the way every time. So always try and play it like perfectly at a much slower tempo. You'll learn how to play it really well, much quicker. Okay, so far so good. So now we land on that G note there, on the 5th fret of the D string, that we slide into, and then we're gonna go again. It's that same pattern, the 1, 2, 3, 5 from G, which creates, you know, you can think of it as a G thing, but really he's most likely thinking C melodic minor here, and it is over a C chord, so it's essentially C melodic minor. So you got that G that you slide into. So you got the G, you got the 2 and 4 on the G string. Hammer onto that, 1 and 3 in terms of fingers. Second finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. Okay. And now we're gonna go C. So you got that C note there on the 5th fret of the G string, and then hammer on from 3 to 4, and then play 6 on the B string.
that G note there on the 3rd fret. So that was, let's just try the whole of that. So you can see there's a little bit of a rhythmic pattern at play here. Okay, now we're gonna go. So you got the 3rd fret, you got the 4th fret on B now, and then 6, pulling off to 3. So you're basically circling around that note, which is the minor 3rd of C. So 3, 4, 6, pull off to 3, and then play 4 again. And now you're going to go down C minor arpeggio, try it. Yeah? I'm using my 2nd finger, my 4th finger, and my 3rd finger. Okay? And then I'm going to that F note here. And that's going to hammer on to the that note there, which is the flat 7 of the A flat, because now we get into the A flat part. Like that. So let's just get that far. Okay, nearly there, guys. One more time. Now we're going to go up that lovely arpeggio. So it's like actually that same principle, the 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's like you're adding, either the 2nd or the 9th when you get out there. And you obviously also got the flat 7 there. So just a really lovely arpeggio kind of sound, arpeggio idea. So you hammer on into it from. So 4, 6 on D, and then 3, 5 on G, 4 on B, and then 2, 4, 6. And that's all picked. But then you slide up to that B note there, which is obviously the major 3rd of G, straight on the G chord. So it's a pretty lovely like use of chord tones right there. So yeah, chord tones in jazz. I've talked about it before, but yeah, super important and really helps paint the colors of any progression. So there we go. Quite a long phrase. And obviously, you'll notice that I'm swinging the 8ths. Obviously, the faster you go, the less they kind of are swung usually. They become, a little more like straighter, the faster you go. But I'm swinging them a lot at this tempo. By swinging, I mean rather than like that, yeah. So like rather, if I was playing it straight. That's playing it straight, yeah. So, but playing it swung is like a. very last bit, which is like a little, again, melodic minor kind of lick. So he's going 7, 8, 10 on the E string, which if you think, I mean, it's obviously fits on a G chord, but it's also a perfect like C melodic minor kind of vibe. So hammer on from 7, 8, 10 with your first, second and fourth fingers, and then you're gonna pull off each of those frets from the 10th fret down to 9, 8, and 7, and land straight on the beat on that B note there on the 7th fret. So 1, 2, 3. So 1, 2, like that. 1, 2. And then so pretty cool little phrase. To think that you're playing that on something that's C minor, you know, totally just the C melodic minor kind of vibe. So we land on that one, and then we go 8th fret, sorry, on the B string, the second finger, and then 5 and 7, and then pull off. So first and third fingers, pull off again, and then that F note there with your second finger on the 6th fret of the B string. Okay, so yeah. And that's pretty much it. The last phrase goes like this. It's just a little slide from 4 to 6 on the B string. You can play that with your third finger, and then pull it off to 4, and then play 6 and 4 again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and so 1, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so it's like it's just a little afterthought basically at the end of it, like that. Yeah. Wonder if I can play the whole thing. I will give it a shot. Played a few times. Like I said, you know, you can always click the link in the description where you can have a listen to the solo, and you've got the track to practice playing on it. I do believe I also have a slower version of a C minor jazz blues. I'm pretty sure I do actually. So you can always look up C minor jazz blues, Quist or whatever, and then have a practice, because there will be the same changes. You know, the chord progression will be the same, and the solo will fit that as well at a lower tempo. So you can do that, or you can, you know, practice it tons with a metronome, and then try and get it up to speed to play it on the track that is linked in the description. And of course, you can get the tab on my Patreon along with all the other tabs that you'll immediately get access to through Patreon. So yeah, I thought I would share this one with you guys this week because I've kind of been in jazz mode. I just finished a lesson for my 251 jazz track, one of the really big tracks on the channel, and I did a deep dive listening to that. It took quite a while to kind of get it edited and done and everything, because yeah, it became like it's almost an hour long, the lesson for it, because I made a pretty deep dive into you know, the 251, the licks themselves, and that sort of area of playing, and I talk about the sound as well, and
And yeah, it's a pretty good little deep dive. I enjoyed making it, but it took a while to get it edited because obviously it's a very long video. So, but that's going up on Patreon very soon as well. Probably I guess in the next week or so. Um, so there we go. Lots of stuff going up there. Let me just see who's here. John Doe. Oh, we got Indonesia in the house, and more Brazil, playing 93 Strat. That's awesome. Hey, thanks, John. I appreciate it. From Chicago. Germany's in the house. Portugal's in the house. Mexico. What are you playing licks? So the licks I'm playing is that solo that I've linked in the description. Click the track and you'll see the solo. Yeah, so love you too, Steph. I appreciate the love very much. And what's up, Rockstar Jazz Cat? Appreciate you guys hanging out very much. So let me just do a little refresh here. Yeah, so I'm gonna play. And Frank, thanks for hanging. I appreciate it very much. Yeah, I'll try and play the solo for you guys a couple of times. You can see how it sounds and how I'm playing it, all of that stuff. See if I can do it. There we go, we get it. There we go, guys. Yeah, so I just I left out the very last phrase so that I could just straight ahead, so I could go straight to doing it one more time. But I played the last phrase at the very end. There, I just felt like I didn't know it was going to be a breakdown when I started the solo, but it was kind of fun. So I just thought it would be more fun to skip the very last phrase and then just do the whole solo again once the band kicked in, just to explain what happened there. Yeah, it's a fun little solo. I do really enjoy that kind of thing. So going back to what I said at the start, I so recommend for anybody that's like wanting to up their game on the guitar and get like some new licks and get some new blood in the sort of lick library. Really recommend trying to learn solos from other instruments. So this is obviously John Coltrane, who played this on tenor sax, and he's awesome. I love his stuff. It's definitely not for beginners. I'll say, yeah, it is an intermediate to advanced kind of vibe. Because you get some fingerings and some ways of playing it that are unexpected and take some practice, like a lot of practice, I guess. But nevertheless, it's a whole lot of fun to do stuff like that, I find, and that's why I wanted to share it with you guys. So hope you have loads of fun with this one. Like I said, you can always grab a C minor jazz blues on the channel, either the one that I've linked below or one that is at a slower tempo. They're there for you guys to have fun with and to experiment with. And you know, even if you just take one of these licks, just, you know, really give it a run for its money. That's how these licks turn into like vocabulary and like music, you know, that you can really use and have be part of your thing. The way that happens is really by you guys, you know, taking them for a spin, and like, so try and learn it in lots of different, you know, play around with it in lots of different keys, lots of different like scenarios. So, you know, you can go and find a jazz blues that maybe is more of a groove kind of thing. I have a bossa nova jazz blues in C minor, I'm sure. You know, try them out like with different feels and stuff like that, and then you start to come up with like your own version a little bit. You can run away with the licks and make them your own. You know, that's pretty much how it works. You know, whether you're writing songs or making music or creating licks or whatever it is. You know, a lot of the greatest things come from something else. You know, like an example that I like to go back to is Bob Dylan. You know, he was incredibly inspired by, was it Woody Guthrie? Like, you know, he went and just was like almost a Woody Guthrie impersonator for a while, and just like really dug into his songs, and then from that, you know, sprung this thing that is so unmistakably original and totally Bob Dylan's. And obviously that's another example from another genre, very much so. But yeah, it's a principle that works all across the board. You know, it's not stealing if you know, you take something creative and you really mess about with it and let it become your language, because you know you've stood on the shoulders of something, but you create some talent borrows. I can see that coming. Yeah, well, however you want to see it, I believe strongly that you know, if you're creative with something and you come up with your own versions of stuff, it really it is a very integral part of how like great stuff is created. Like, don't be afraid to stand on the shoulders of giants, is what I'm saying. Like, very little art has come out of absolutely nothing. I mean, it usually comes out of hardship. Basically, the greatest art usually comes out of you know, not people not being necessarily all that happy. So maybe a whole lot of art will be created in this period, actually, because everybody's locked up and probably pretty frustrated, and probably people are having a lot of financial hardship as well. I mean, I think pretty much most people are, you know. So maybe some great art will come out of this period, to look on the bright side of it. Who knows? I hope so, and I'm certainly trying myself to really create as much as I possibly can these days, both in terms of, you know, jam tracks and lessons, and you know, my Wednesday warm-ups have been going for a year now. This week marked 1 year of them. I'm trying to create all that stuff, but I'm also creating a ton of music. I'm making more music with more different people than I've ever done right now. And a lot of it is going to see the light of day in the next, over the, well, this year, basically. Some projects might take a little longer than a few months, but even just in the next few months, I'm hoping to, I know that things will be released that I've made with other people. And yeah, I look forward to sharing just a ton of music with you guys. I'm really just on a creation kind of vibe right now, and it's all you know, you can do, I feel, at the moment. You know, just try and look at the positives of being locked up 24/7. You know, just try and use the time to, for me anyway, to you know, trying to learn and create and use the time positively. So I hope that you guys are doing you know, a similar kind of thing, trying to stay on the positive side of stuff. And yeah, there we go, guys. Hope you enjoy the licks and the tab. It's linked below, and there is more jams obviously coming very soon. I just finished yesterday an album that was requested by a
Patreon, which I've made an album of the Sexy series. It's called the Sexy series. It's like all the slow blues jams that have become really popular over the last year. So I thought I would make like a compilation of 10 of those tracks. So that is going to come out. It takes a while for that stuff to process, but it will be out on the new Spotify and everywhere else, also on Quistorama.com, which obviously linked below as well. You can get all the downloads and everything right there, but it's coming out on the new Spotify and everywhere else like iTunes and whatnot. I've linked my new Spotify with all the jam tracks are on Spotify right there. So that's coming out there. And yeah, with regards to music that's coming out, all the music that I was talking about that I'm creating with other people as well, and in my own, with myself, that's all coming out everywhere. Also, especially my Spotify that I'm actually putting quite a lot of work into. That's linked below as well. So I appreciate all the support on there. Yeah, expect a lot of music this year and lots of jams, obviously, and then a ton of tabs. I usually release at least 4 Wednesday warm-ups every month, obviously on the Patreon, but also 2 solo tabs, a minimum of 2 intro solo tabs, and like various other tabs are being added there every month. But actually, I'm upping that frequency quite a lot. I've got about 5 or 6 tabs lined up to be released. So this month is going to be like full of tabs on Patreon. I also have like a whole song that was requested ages ago, my version of I Like That by Snail Mail. The full tab for that has just been finished, and I'm also finishing the full tab for the new track that just came out on Spotify, which is called Birds, which is like a 251-6 kind of jazzy little lo-fi hip hop type of vibe that has gotten more views quicker than any track I've ever put out on Spotify. So yeah, there's already free tab for a section of that. You can check it out. I think it's maybe in the description. It's called Birds. It's like a jazz hop vibe. So anyways, I'm putting out a lot more of that type of vibe over this, over the next year or more. I've made a lot of music already with a few different people in that style that I'm really looking forward to sharing with everybody on here. So yeah, there we go, guys. Appreciate you very much, and thanks to everybody. Expect lots more music and jams and everything else very soon. I'll probably do another live hang next week. So see you then, and lots of love. Take care of yourselves. Appreciate you all very much, and have fun, guys. Stay safe. Bye.